Hey. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about how I spend about 10 hours a week. I save 10 hours a week so I can spend more time with my kids while growing my business. So if you haven't seen this already, last week I talked a little bit about how I oversold my coaching practice last year, about mid-year. And I was doing coaching calls until like 11 o'clock at night. It was a kind of a disaster area multiple times a week. And I was thrilled because the money was awesome. But I was also, there was like a emptiness and like this weird feeling about it. Like I was building up a new 9 to 5 without having a 9 to 5. And so I wanted to talk today a little bit about how I kind of broke through that and like kind of overcame that struggle and what systems I set up and how I've been able to save so much time in my business. And 10 hours I think is a really conservative time frame, and I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like and how that breaks down. And so let's first talk about like what are systems, what are processes, just so that we can kind of start to talk about that. Oh, before I forget to introduce myself, my name is Mariana. I am a business coach, and I help moms to build businesses that allow them to have the freedom to spend as much or as little time with their kids as they want to. And as you can tell by that statement, right, like having that freedom to spend as much time with your kids as you want to is really, really important. And that part of my message wasn't formed until I had this huge struggle with that, which is interesting because it's like, you know, all of these opportunities are presented to us to exactly like do what it is we truly want and need in our business. Hey, as you're hopping in, say hi. Okay. So what are systems and processes? So system and processes is just like a standard way of doing things. Okay. So like in corporate, it might have been called like standard operating procedures or something like that. And why that's important is because what a lot of entrepreneurs do is because they don't have these in place. Every time you're doing something, you like start from zero and you like recreate the wheel every single time. So whether it's like an opt-in or like a image on Canva, like you're restarting at zero every time. There's not like a set checklist. Like there's not like a knowing of what to do next. And then that's using up a lot of creative energy. So what we can do instead is kind of systematize that and like take the load off of your brain, like avoid decision fatigue and start to like really get to doing things more streamlined. And so that is kind of a little bit of what a system is. And I'm going to share a resource with you at the end, which is going to be like a bigger training on processes and how to set these up in your business, way more in depth than what I'm giving you here. Okay, so what you can do, so the very first system that I created was around the everyday crap that I do every day. I'm sorry, my hair is like crazy today. I usually straighten it, so I'm not used to my curly hair. Okay, so the everyday stuff, the very, very first thing you can start today, like it doesn't take you, you don't have to hire a team member, you can start today. The very first thing you can do is set up a calendar management system. Seriously, this is huge. So you start with like a plain calendar. Oh, mine's under my computer because it needed to be a little higher. But have a system and a system meaning a way you do your calendar. Like plan out your stuff. What are you doing? What are you focusing on? How do you know what to do every day if you don't like take an inventory and actually figure out what you're going to do every week at the beginning of the week? Right? So have a system for managing your calendar. On top of that, any available periods for specific blocks. So I'm just going to pop it out so that you can see this because I think this is important, especially if you're a mom and you have like little ones that you need to keep alive. I think this is super important because this is the little stuff that like will end up you'll go crazy, right? So this is what I do. I have these like little time blocks, sleep at the bottom, mindset practice in the beginning of the day. And then like, this is what I'm working on, right? Like these are my available time periods. These are phone calls. And then the highlighted areas is like, this is a block. This is a block that is going to be for a specific thing. It could be coaching calls, it could be discovery calls, it could be podcast episodes. I have a podcast, so I record that. So this is the little stuff that if we don't have it, then everything kind of bleeds into each other. And then we're like, well, I don't know what to do. And then you have time and you're like, sit down. I have no idea what to work on, right? So that has been hugely, hugely helpful for me. You really don't need anything you don't already have. I'm sure you have a planner. If not, Google Calendar is available, right? Like you don't need anything that you don't already have. So that's one of the first ones. The other thing I did was like Satori. You can use Calendly, it's free. But basically have the time blocks for available coaching calls, available discovery calls, that kind of thing blocked off in your calendar so that you aren't going back and forth, right? I think that is an extreme time suck. And if you're doing that yourself, stop today. There's no reason for that. So the back and forth, that again is like increasing your stress, increasing your decision fatigue, and really, really draining. Okay, so that was one of the first ones. The other daily thing, creating content and connecting with your community. So important, right? Like we want to provide value. We're here to grow our following and expand our reach. And therefore we need content. We need content to show up on our behalf every single day, right? But what we don't need to do is like be involved in every single step of that. And we don't need to be involved in like all of the minutia details like going into Canva. So if you have a team member, start to create a system and process in the back end of your business to set up something for you. Simple things like a template that you can use. And even for your team members, you want to have systems. So I'm not saying like don't hire a team member and just use a template on Canva. That is like a job that probably if you're the CEO of your business, you can hand off. Okay. And I'm going to share with you at the end too, like an assessment quiz that you can take to see like what's the role you're playing. Cause that's what ended up really happening is like, I was like doing all of this stuff in my business, none of which was really, I was feeling so overwhelmed and like I could never get through my to-do list. And then I realized like I don't have space in my brain to come up with creative ideas. And that was because I was playing the role of an intern. And that's what my mentor James talks about it. He calls it an intern. And that's exactly what it is. You don't get paid as an intern. Like that sucks. And even though I had a full, like I was making like 15K a month, but I was so overbrimmed that there was no way to keep up with that because I was so overstressed. Okay, so next I'm going to go into, oh my gosh, there's just so many. Okay, so then with the content creation, right? So you don't have to be involved in every step of the content creation process. And I teach this inside my course called Consistently Visible. You may have seen the advertisements way long time ago. And it's basically all about creating a system around your content creation. So all I do is I show up for what I'm recording. So right now I'm recording a Facebook Live. I could technically, this could become a podcast episode. My team can make it into multiple little tiny videos. They can, give stuff to my clients. They can put it on Facebook. They can create images to go with it for Instagram. Like they can do a million things with it. And it's still me. It's still my voice. But I don't need to be the one doing every single bit of that. And so if you are doing all of those steps, I would highly encourage you to hire somebody onto your team to help you with that. And of course, I have this Consistently Visible thing. So I'm not telling you that. Don't worry. But what I am saying is get help to like set up a system that will do this for you. Because here's the thing, you can hire a virtual assistant in the Philippines for as little as $3 an hour. I pay mine more than that, but I do have a virtual assistant in the Philippines, and I have other team members in the Philippines as well as like a podcast editor. But what is amazing is that like my VA is so much better at this crap than I am. Like he sets up, he's amazing at graphic design. If you've seen my images, like from when I started, you'll see the difference. Like the images that he comes up with are so much more nice than mine. Like besides that, I don't have to go into it every time and start over and try to create something. Okay, what else? Okay, so let me just give you a breakdown of what we've covered so far, because I really want to show you how much of a savings of time this can be for you. So podcast editing was costing me 4 hours a week. I am so embarrassed to even say I attempted to edit my own podcast, because I really knew better at the time, but I was so stuck in like feeling like I needed to know how to do something in order to come out with it, that I was like, I need to do this. And there was a part of me too that was also like, I really want to do it so I can improve my skills around podcasting. Like I was looking for, okay, when do I say and like too much and all of that. And really like that was just a negative side note that I ended up going down. But I think it's very useful to try to improve your technique, yes, but you don't have to be doing the editing. And so that was about 4 hours a week. Then posting in Facebook groups, that's about 2 hours a week. I think more than that. Posting content onto my blog and repurposing it, I'm putting here only 1 hour a week, but I'm pretty sure that was more. So that's like things like formatting it in WordPress, like all of that stuff. I actually had hired one virtual assistant to do that, just the formatting of guest blog posts. So communication with the guest blogger and the actual formatting of the post and making sure there was no typo. Okay, there we go. We lost connection there for a second. Okay, so just the, posting of the blog post and formatting and checking for errors, which if y'all know me, you know that I suck at, I have a lot of typos. Like, that's just kind of one of my signature things. Anyway, so she was just doing that for me, and that was taking 6 hours a week. And I was doing that at one time every single week, plus writing my own blog post and reformatting my own blog post, plus doing the blog, the podcast, and showing, like, can you see how much of a time suck that was and why it was impossible to keep up at that time? Okay, so other things that I like to do. So if you listen to my success game plan, I talk a lot about reviewing what you've done so that you can see how you can improve things. And it was kind of my intention behind trying to do the editing of the podcast, because I wanted to review my podcast episodes and see how I could improve my technique, which I think is still really, really important. But what I was doing is I was also going in and checking in every single Facebook post and finding out how many likes I had, how many comments I had, why I thought it had a lot of likes and comments, and trying to analyze everything that I was doing content-wise to see why things were working. I think it's important for you in your business to figure out why things are working, but I also do not think that as the CEO of your business, you need to be the one doing that, okay? So when I outsourced that was about an hour a week. Every single week. Not so. Okay. I talked about the calendar management system. I think that saved me anywhere from 1 to 2 hours a week. And I would probably guess more, because every time I would sit down to create something, I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And so that was a huge one for me, and why I teach that, and why I feel really good about sharing that with all of my clients. Okay, what else? Okay, so the other really, really cool one that I think was life-changing. So the one that was life-changing was creating systems around setting up funnels. So creating systems around your process for getting paid. So many people are out there creating free content. There is not a strategy for how you're going to immediately get paid soon after. So that was one of the biggest mistakes. If I could give this lesson to you and like you take it, please, it be that, okay? If you listen to nothing else, set up a system for getting paid in your business. So this looked like a funnel that I built in my business. In other words, a launch or a process for getting paid that didn't require me to be there. So that was life-changing. I made a sale a day for a month on a small digital program that then sold into a higher package that then sold into one-on-one coaching. So that was a huge win in my business. And we are in the process of recreating that funnel through some different stuff. And we're going to be relaunching that again soon. And it's one of those things like, this is what I mean, right? So I was prospecting, reaching out to potential clients, all of this manually. And my opt-ins were not good. They were not converting that well. And they weren't really working to warm up the leads I was getting to the ultimate result that I wanted. And so I needed to create a process for streamlining people into my higher level packages. And that's what I did, and why I want to share this video series with you now, because when you click on that link, what you're going to get is a whole training by James Wedmore. Now, he has a multiple 7-figure business, so he knows what he's talking about. It's not little old me. And he now teaches other content creators how to generate revenue from your content. So if this is something that you think would help you, you know, when you are getting out there, when you are getting visible, do you have a way to make money back that does not require you to manually be there? Or to, you know, is it going to fill out your other programs? Do you have other programs, right? What does that look like? I posted, I think a couple weeks ago, about possibly running some Facebook ads for people. And I got about 20 inquiries of people that wanted me to run their Facebook ads. And it was awesome. But what I discovered is that 90% of the people that wanted to do Facebook ads had zero way of recouping the money on ads. If I have one big thing to tell you guys is, do not spend a single penny on Facebook ads unless you know you will make that money back. And that is so important in your business, guys. Like, focus on what is the return on investment. I talk about profit a lot, right? Like, what are you going to make when all is said and done, right? Like, are you spending hours on social media without a plan for making that money back? Are you spending money on ads without a plan for making that money back? If so, you need to be in on this series. You need to sign up. Today is the last day. I think that the video 1 is available. So get in on it today. And I can't wait to kind of see what results you get in your quiz. Like, go ahead and comment below and let me know what role you're playing in your business. And then I will see you. There's a private Facebook community. So I'd love for you to go into the private Facebook community and share with us. It's, by the way, it's free. It's a free video training plus a free quiz to help you determine what role you're playing in your business and how you can start to set up processes so that you can have as much or as little time with your kids as you want to. You can increase your revenue, all of that. Again, this is not a get rich quick scheme type of thing. I will just say that. All of this requires effort for sure. And I've talked about that before on my podcast and in my content. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and let me know. And I will be here for you. Have an awesome day. Bye.